Good morning and welcome to Compassion's Morning Meditation. My name is Pastor Willie Singletary, and I am excited this morning to join with you to help you start off your day. My scripture today will be found in the book of Jude and verse number 24, where it says, "Now unto him that is able." I just want to encourage you this morning to let you know that he is able. And if you believe that, type that in the chat and say, he is able. He is able. Come on, you ought to like and share and tell somebody he is able. I want to tell you a story about a young lady who was raising her two grandboys. Her and her husband were raising her two grandboys. And as she was raising her two grandboys, her husband took ill in February of 1987. She was raising them. She was a factory worker for a little bit of time, but most of the time she was a homemaker. And she was raising her two grandboys because her daughter had a disease of addiction. But her and her husband, June, loved those two grandboys. But in February, he took ill. He was the breadwinner of the house. He was the one that worked. And in February, he took ill, he took sick, and when he took sick, he was a number writer as well. Do you know what a number writer was? He was a street number writer. He wrote the lottery for the street. Y'all do know what the street number is, and it came out at 3 and 4 and 5. But every evening around 7 o'clock, he would get his grandchildren, and they would climb in his 1981 DeVille Cadillac, that long, big brown Cadillac. They would get in the Cadillac and he would go around to different houses after the lottery went off and collect the money. They would collect the money in cash, and his grandson would sit right on the center. You know, the big Cadillac with the long seat. His grandson would sit right on the center. He would bring the money back and give it to his grandfather, and they would do that several houses every day because the lottery, the street number, came out multiple days during the week. But after he took ill in February of 1987, he ultimately died March 31st, 1987. Grandma was still raising two boys, and as she was raising two boys, she wasn't old enough to collect his Social Security. She had to be 65 in order to get his Social Security. So she was raising two boys with $706 a month, trying to pay bills, pay mortgage, pay a bunch of bills with the little $700 that she had. But she went to Philippian Baptist Church, and she kept believing, and she kept saying God is able. She didn't know how she was going to get through, but she believed that God was able. And ultimately, she got a phone call from the mortgage company and said, ma'am, we're going to have to foreclose on your house if you don't pay the mortgage. She said, I've been paying the best I can, the little bit that I can. And so she kept paying. And then they kept calling. And the last time they called, they said, ma'am, you have 30 days. You have 30 days until we foreclose on your house. And she said, all right, but I know my God is able. She kept praying and telling her grandboys, God is going to provide. God is able. And she believed that it didn't matter what she was going through, God was able. Even offer her $706 a month, she still gave God her tithe because she said, I believe God is going to do it for me. And the day before, the 30th day, she went down in the basement and she was in a closet looking at some boxes and stuff. And when she went into that closet, she saw old big Stacy Adam Maxwell granddaddy used to keep his nice shine shoes. But she opened up the box, and there in a box, she found $9,700. It was more than enough to pay off the mortgage. She went to the bank the next day, paid off the mortgage, and received the deed. And I just came to tell you that even in the midst of the darkest hour, that he is able to supply all of your needs according to his riches and glory. You have to believe, and you have to know that whatever the circumstance, whatever the situation, you got to know that God is able. You got to know that in spite of what it looks like, what it feels like, even what you're going through or dealing with right now, you got to say to yourself, God is able. I know we said he may not come when you want him, but he's always on time God, because he is able to provide whatever you need. You have to trust him and believe and know that whatever the circumstances is, whatever the situation may be, you have to know that God is able and God will do anything but fail. And so this morning I want to encourage you that whatever the life situation is doing, I know life be life in it. I know trials be coming. I know troubles be in our way. Obstacles are getting in the way. Obstructions are getting in the way. You got to know that that he's able to give you joy in the midst of your sorrow. He's able to give you peace in the midst of your confusion. He's able to walk with you and talk with you and remind you that you are my child. So I came this morning to let you know he is able. God is able. He will do what he said he would do, and you got to believe it. You got to know it. Thank you for joining us this morning for Compassion's morning meditation. May God bless you and heaven smile upon you.